Well, the recent deadly fentanyl overdose in Hartford school is top of mind for many parents, leaving many questioning how they're supposed to talk with their own kids now about drugs. Joining us now is Dr. Craig Allen with Hartford Healthcare. Dr. Allen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, Ben.
So first off, what are the stats when it comes to teens in Connecticut specifically using drugs?
But teens using drugs, so if you're including, and I would, including nicotine, cigarettes, vapes, alcohol, cannabis products, as well as cocaine, opioids, even fentanyl, it's a wide range. It's really unusual to be using something like fentanyl or opioids if you're under the age of 16. But it happens, and if it does, you are in a group that's very, very unlikely to be identified as having a problem, and only 2% of kids that age even get treatment if they are using opioids. But most common is alcohol, followed by cannabis.
But that brings me to the question, how exactly, if you're under the age of 16 years old, do you get your hands on fentanyl or on cocaine? I think a lot of us saw this headline come out from the school in Hartford of the overdose of fentanyl, and then we saw that they were 13 years old, 7th grade, 8th grade, middle school. How do kids this young get their hands on drugs that are that serious?
Yeah, less likely that kids 12, 13, 14 years of age are out on the street buying it. More likely, they may have access to it through siblings, relatives, their friends, people they're hanging out with. The unfortunate thing about fentanyl is that it is, I use this term ubiquitous, it's everywhere, and it's unfortunately not that hard to get on purpose or not on purpose. It's been put into other drugs as well, like cocaine and so forth. So there's so much of it on the street because it's inexpensive, it's potent, that it's not as hard as we would wish for kids to come across it.
All right, so I could talk to you for hours about this. Time is limited. I guess I'll end with this. When something like this happens and we see this overdose and we see a life taken far too soon, I think as a society we kind of hit reset, right? We see the headline come out, it takes our breath away, and then we can't do anything to fix that situation, but we can do something to prevent that situation from happening again in the future. So, Dr. Allen, a parent might be watching. They might have a kid who's 13 years old, 14 years old, 12 years old, and this was not on their radar to talk to their kids about this week. Mm-hmm. How should they bring this topic up, or should they bring this topic up with a child at home who's 12 or 13?
Yeah, you want to talk to kids at their developmental level. You're not going to talk to, American Academy of Pediatrics says you should start talking to kids by the age of 8 about cigarettes and alcohol. If they're 8, you're saying, we don't want you to do that. It's not good for you. You're going to get sick. If they are teenagers, then telling them why you have those thoughts, why you have those beliefs. Look for opportunities to start the conversation. Something on the news, something in the newspaper. Oh, this happened to my friend's uncle. Really? Have you ever seen or heard about that at your own school? Look for opportunities, talk about it, open up the conversation, make the space, take the time. It's really, really important. The other thing that's important is to know about naloxone, which is the opioid overdose reversal medication. It's not hard. It has very few side effects. It's safe, and it can save someone's life. It doesn't solve the problem, except for the immediate problem that someone may have overdosed and be dying from an opioid overdose.
It's a conversation to be continued. Dr. Craig Allen from Hartford Healthcare, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.